Back at my hobby prison, today we're going to work on the wheels. I'm going to scuff them up and get them ready to paint. I've got my red Scotch-Brite and hopefully they'll go pretty good. It shouldn't be too hard to do. They're in really good shape like I've said before, so maybe some minor scuffing and make sure we get all the dirt off and get them scuffed up really good so the paint will stay. So that's what we're doing now. We got this up on the hydrographing tank because I don't really have a low enough workbench anymore. I've used them all for everything else. So we're just gonna take it piece by piece. We're gonna start with this rail here, but we're gonna go around the edges first. We'll hit the center, and then we'll do, man, it might take longer than I thought. And we're not gonna worry about this. We'll just paint over it, and then when we change the tires, we'll touch them up. So around the edges real quick. Make sure we get all the old chrome off. So, yep, here we go. I think it turned out okay. You can see the scratches on it. And then I remembered you really ought to try to put some cross hatching in there when you're sanding it, so when you're scuffing it. So I went back and did a couple of more cross hatching, but that wheel's done. That didn't take very long either, I don't think. One down. One down and 3 more to go. I don't know if I'm going to do the spare tire yet or not, but I got time to think about that. Going on to the next wheel and tire. Second wheel, new red Scotch-Brite. I'm going to start where the valve stem is. And kind of keep track of it. My starting point. that's 4 wheels down and none to go unless I do the spare. Haven't decided yet. It's a full-size spare. It's never been on the ground. It's completely perfect. But I don't know if I want to mess with it. So I'm not going to do it right now. I'm still thinking about it. So the only thing left to do to get ready before taping is those 4 center caps. So that's what we're going to do next. 4 center caps. Even the center caps are in great shape. There's a chip on that one, but dang. Great shape. We'll start down here. We'll start over here at the J for Jeep. These really shouldn't take long at all. I don't know how I'm going to get in there. Okay. One down. We'll start here at the J, at the Jeep, the J, so I'll remember where I started. Well, that did not take very long at all. I think I may have spent an hour and a half getting all those wheels ready. I'm gonna have to tape it up, and I think that's probably gonna take a lot longer than sanding them. So, and I only have Temu tape. Anyway, that's the next step in the process, is taping up those tires to keep the paint off them. So join me for that. Moving forward. Hopefully moving forward. All right, turned out okay. Now all I got to do is worry about how to get it off that workbench without tearing the hell out of it. Maybe I'll get Ian to see if he can help me lift it off and set it someplace else. I don't know. I was thinking I could just spray it right, put it right there and spray it. A lot to think about. I'll have to figure that out as we go along. Anyway, one tire is completely ready to paint. Well, it's not. I gotta wipe it down with some wax and grease remover. Other than that, it's ready. Oh, I gotta tape off the valve stem. Okay, I'm gonna do that next, and then we'll move on to the next tire. Yesterday I ran out of batteries, and so I went ahead and did 2 more tires and wheels, and today we're gonna finish up the last tire and wheel. So enjoy me for that, and then we'll go ahead and mix up the primer and prime them and get them painted today. It's a beautiful day outside, and we don't want to miss it. So let's get cracking. So that's it. And now what we're going to do before, we're going to set the garage up. So I've got to figure out a way to set these wheels up so I can walk around them when I paint them. I've got some ideas. I've got a couple of chairs that I'll just cover with some plastic and maybe a 5-gallon bucket. I've got a TV tray stand too that might hold it. Anyway, I got to set the garage up. I'll show you how it looks, how it's going to work out. Then we'll mix up the primer and we'll spray it. Here it is. You've probably been wondering what this is. Well, I paint a lot in here. So basically it's kind of a drop cloth. It's hooked to a piece of PVC. So this is my paint area over here. So when I get ready to paint, I'm just going to drop that down and it'll block off that side of the garage. And this side, not worried about overspray too much. I'm not worried about hitting the toolbox because I'm not going to be spraying that direction. I'm going to be spraying this direction. And it's not ideal, but I think I can, at least if I can't get around it physically, my arm can reach around it. This is the one I can't walk around, but my arm can reach around it. I'm going to spray this one first while the gun's full. Not that it should have a problem, but I'll shoot these last. I've got those taped down to pieces of duct tape. Hopefully the gun won't blow them off, and then when I need to paint it, I just pick up this board and turn it so I can spray the other side. So right now we got to mix up the primer. It's epoxy primer, so it should stick onto that chrome really good. And I've got to reduce it because it's build-up sandable primer, and I'm not gonna try to do any correction on that and try to sand all the bumps out of it. So we're gonna thin it down. Anyway, we're gonna do that, and I'll turn you back on when we're ready to paint. All right, so this is how we're gonna mix the primer. We're gonna go 2 to 1 to 1, but it's not. It's 2 parts primer, 1 part activator, and a 1/2 part reducer. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna fill it up to the 3 line on the first one, and then the 3 line on the second one, and then halfway between the 2 and the 3 for the reducer. And that should give us sealer slash primer consistency. Man, this stuff is thick. All right, so we're at 2 to 1 to 1, so we're going to put it up to put on 3, 3, and then halfway. So okay, 3, 3.
I wonder if his friend is staying another night.
I don't know.
Is that okay with you?
I don't care. I got to work tomorrow though.
Oh yeah.
3. And halfway between 2 and 3 for the reducer. I think we're gonna add just a little bit more reducer. It's too thick for the way I like it. I know it's primer. We're just gonna add a little bit more. It's okay. I cleaned this gun out real good the last time I used it. I'm running low on these cups. Just double check it and make sure that it's not leaking, because it'll leak either right around here or right around in there, but it appears to be doing okay. I got my drop cloth lowered. I got my gun ready. It's set at about 18 psi to spray. All I'm gonna do now is tack everything off, put my air mask on, and then spray it. And I don't know if you all know what tack rags are. You can get them from auto parts stores or whatever, but they're just like a rag, and it's got like a resin. It's just a little rag. It's got like a resin on it. It's kind of sticky, and you just go over your part and just try to pick up. Man, I'm not good at this. Try to pick up the dust particles that may have gotten on it. Now, when I lower that. Well, the air compressor went off, so that was blowing air all through here, dust everywhere. And when I lower that drop cloth, I'm sure it's got dried up paint on it. But we'll just do that on the rest of them, and on those, then we'll paint. I said paint, but I meant primer, and I'm done tacking that off. That didn't take very long. I guess we're ready to go. We're gonna mask up and prime these things. Should be no big deal. Oh, so I don't think I recorded that. I think I missed it. If I did, I'm sorry, but we gotta spray another coat anyway. I mixed up 3 marker. I don't know if it's 3 ounces or 3 pounds or 3 fingers. I don't know. But I do know that we need to put on another coat, and so I got to mix up another batch. We got to wait 15 minutes between coats anyway, and we'll shoot it again. But first coat turned out pretty good, I think. There's some orange peel in it. I thought it might flow out, but maybe I need to turn up the pressure a little bit, get it to atomize a little bit better. We'll try it. Well, it's been about 15 minutes, and that orange peel on that primer flowed out. So I'm just gonna leave the gun set where it's at. One more coat of primer, and then we'll paint. 2 coats of that black, I think, paint, and then we should be done for the day. So bear with me. Keep enjoying the show. Where are we at? Can you see? I don't even know if you can see. I don't want to kick the camera over. Yeah, you can kind of see. You can kind of see. Well, that should be it. What we'll do now, well, not what we'll do. What I'll do now is clean the gun, wait our 15 minutes, spray the black. I'm gonna put you on pause for a little bit. Well, I got called into work, so I didn't get to paint yet, but it's still a little bit light outside. It's still kind of warm. And I got to work this weekend, so we get it painted tonight. We'll wait until Sunday night after work before we put them back on the Jeep. They should be dried and mostly cured by then, at least cured enough to be able to put them on the Jeep. But we're going to use this paint called Satin Black Chip Guard from SEM. You're supposed to spray it at a pretty low pressure, about 8 to 12 pounds, with a 8 to 10 pounds medium wet with a 1.8 tip. Well, I don't have a 1.8 tip. I have a 1.3 or a 1.4 is the biggest I got. So we're gonna spray with that and hope for the best. Anyway, I'm gonna go get this ready to paint and we'll be back. Well, I don't have the 1.8 gun, spray gun, the tip. I don't have a 1.8 tip, but I do have a 1.4 with the Harbor Freight spray gun, the Purple Demon. I've had luck on and off with them, and I'm just going to use that. Like I said, I'm not making a show card. These are wheels. It should spray fine. If it doesn't, hopefully the mud will scratch it all off and it'll look a bit badass anyways. So I'm gonna mount the camera on the tripod, put my mask on, and spray away. You hear the car races in the back drop. Sorry about that. What do I got over here? Yeah, it's okay. The nice thing about these spray guns, this thing effing sucks. Never disappoints. I'm throwing it in the garbage. I don't have to clean it. It's going right in the trash. Worst 10 bucks I ever spent. What happened was it was spraying, I don't know, for the first couple sprays, and all of a sudden the trigger started sticking. And it just, so I'd be pushing it and trying to move it, and then it would break free and it'd splash and get everywhere. So you saw me, I had a couple of runs. I was trying to wipe them out. You know, I'm no expert painter, but I'm definitely no expert shooting video. But I've shot quite a bit of things that this is, I won't ever buy, don't ever buy this purple gun. You know what, they used to be okay. 5-10 years ago, I mean, they were okay. They weren't good, but you get them out of the box and at least they'd work for a while. The last few I've got have just been not good. I mean, there's been times when I haven't been able to even use them brand new out of the box. And I'd take them back and get another one, but I'm not even gonna bother with that anymore. Not doing it. But other than the runs, I think this stuff kind of turned out pretty nice. Let me show you. So it's a satin black finish. Looks like I need to get in there a little bit, yeah. But, man, look at all the runs. I'm really disappointed. But if it wasn't for those, this is pretty nice. I might check the instructions and see what it's like. This is the big run right here. You see it? Sand it off and reshoot it. There's more paint. But I like that satin color. That's nice. There's another run. God dang it. Well, Like I said, we're not doing a show car here, but it sure would have been nice if I'd had a better gun. Well, live and learn. Next time I'll know, but that's it for today, folks. I'm gonna spray that one part up here that I saw looked a little bit light. Right in there, right here. Respray that a little bit with that shitty gun, and then pour the rest of the paint that's in the cup back in the paint container and throw that gun away. Good morning. It's another day in the prison. Oh, sorry about the glare. I checked out the wheels. That paint turned out pretty good, and the runs, they float out pretty nice, but you can still see them. So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sand down those runs. Hopefully, I'm gonna start out with 220 grit sandpaper. Hopefully that's not too aggressive. Try to knock those runs down and give them another coat. So let me show you the runs. I got one wheel that's the worst one. Let me show it to you. See right down here, right along there, it ran good, and boy, where the heck is it? Yeah, right here. You can see it. Maybe. Shoot. I can't. It's right here. I can feel it. But these are bad, so we're going to try to knock those down and give it a second coat. Plus, there's some parts. See, you can see right here where I didn't quite get it. So another good coat of that should fix it up. These over here, these center caps, they turn out great. They're just about perfect. And I went and picked up a new gun from Home Depot. This one has a 1.8 tip. We'll open that and we'll unbox it. I got my tripod set up there. Hopefully I can do this with two hands and make it so it's at least somewhat informative and entertaining. So I picked this up at Home Depot. It was about 75 bucks with tax. It comes with two tips, a 1.4 and a 1.8. Looks like it's packaged pretty well. Caution. I don't know what I'll do with that. It's nice and heavy. Warning, read before operating. Well, we don't need that either. We're gonna have to experiment with this a little bit. So here's how I set up my guns. I open this fan. This is the flow of your material. So I squeeze the trigger all the way closed, tighten this down until I can feel it trying to hit that, and then tighten this up. That'll give me 100% flow of material. This one should be the size of your fan. So the more it's open, the wider it's going to be. And this one down here is the airflow into the gun, and you want that all the way open. We'll have to set this gun up with a connector down here for the air gun. I've had these Huskies guns before. They're initially pretty good guns. The last one I had didn't tend to last very long. I can't remember what happened to it, but it just started not performing very well. But it lasted for quite a while, and it was a good gun to start with. Paint cup. That'll come in handy to hold the paint. Owner's manual. You already know what that says. And our tip, our needle. This is the 1.8 tip. So that's the first thing we're going to change out, is the tip. It's pretty easy to work on. Well, I've done it a lot, so. And here I say that, but yet I can't get my, I need to get this out to clean it with, but not right now. It's clean already. Needle. And the tip. What else we got in here? We got more stuff I don't need, but that's okay. This is used to get, when you take this out, there's another part in there that unscrews so you can get the whole thing out and clean it. But right now we got to change that tip off. This, I have this. This is from another gun. Unscrew. Come on, buddy. I'm kind of excited to use this gun. I think I'm going to keep this packaging here to keep the tips together that belong together. So let's put this in there. Oh, come on, man. Can you imagine trying to do this with one hand? I don't know how guys do it. This. You take your needle out. This comes all the way out. And the needle comes out the back. Spring, gotta hang on to that. Okay. This is my 1.4. And 1.8. Actually, you're supposed to put this in first so you don't damage the needle while you're putting this in. These needles are pretty durable. It's not like an airbrush needle. It's really fine. Just put that in there tight. Put this back in there. It's got a seal in it to keep things airtight and fluid tight. So it takes a little bit of coaxing to get in there, but it shouldn't be hard. Screw that back in. That feels like aluminum. And that is all the way in. Tighten that up. And now we just need to trade this out. There it goes. Tighten that back up. This should spin with effort, but it shouldn't be on there too tight. And we just need to put a water filter in there and a regulator and a connector. So I'm going to do all that off the recorder. We're just going to run some thread tape in, add the air regulator. Well, I'll show you all that, I guess. This is the deal I took off that purple gun. So I know it works good. So we just have to put it on here. And we use some thread tape. This I don't know if I can do with this camera, and it's tricky. Some guys are pretty good at it. I'm not. You got to wrap it around the threads clockwise. Some guys say you don't need to wrap it around clockwise, but every time I don't wrap it around clockwise, I get a mess. And you need, so I don't really know the protocol, like if you need 4 wraps or 5 wraps or 1 wrap, but we're going to give it about that many wraps. And this goes on, obviously. It's kind of hard to do with a camera in front of you. Where's my tool? Feels like it's on there pretty tight. Yep, I think we're set. This should be ready to spray. I'm going to shoot some lacquer thinner through it first, just to make sure I've got my spray pattern where I want it. Where the heck is my lacquer thinner? Just a little bit. You don't need much. All right, let's go hook it up to the air hose and try it out. All right, I've got it set at about 80 psi at the tank and 18 at the gun. Let's check out the fan. See how it's gonna spray. Find a spot here. Oh man, I don't know if you can see that, but that's got a great fan. Right, well that gun's ready to spray. We're supposed to be spraying that chip resistant paint at between 8 and 12 with the 1.8 tip. It should spray it a lot better. I'm actually pretty excited to do it, but before we do that, we got to sand those runs off. Let me get some sandpaper and we'll start doing that. All right, I found that one big run. I got my flashlight out. You can probably see it once I do this. You see it right there? So I was looking at the 220 grit sandpaper, and I think that's too much. So I went and got the 320 and just hit it and see what happens. So I'm gonna knock that down. I don't want to go too deep or too far. Like I said, we're not building a show car here, so we're going to try to knock it down a little bit. That's coming off pretty good. It probably won't be heavier than that. Yeah, it's down enough. Hit it with another coat. I'm gonna get this off. I'm not gonna do it holding this recorder, so I'm gonna shut this off. I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Yeah, this wheel was the worst of it all, but you can see it's knocked out pretty. The paint's pretty thick, so I'm not real worried about getting it perfect. But I also didn't want to run through the sand through the paint and the primer, so I just tried to knock the high ridges down. See, you can still see a little bit of a high ridge right along there, but like I say, I see it's sanding through the paint, so I didn't want to get through the primer. Looks like I might have gone through the primer right there, but we're gonna spray it anyway. Got about half of this left, and I'm not going to respray those center caps, so we should have enough to get another good coat on there. Just got to mix it up real good. I like this stuff. I like the way it sprays. I like the way it looks when it's dry. A look. It's kind of stringy, it looks like. That 1.8 tip sure makes a difference. This stuff comes out really a lot thicker and with some texture on it, which I'm kind of digging. And that low pressure. I don't know if you noticed it, but that stuff, it's kind of stringy a little bit. It looks kind of a little bit like truck bed liner. So hopefully it'll avoid chips for a bit. It says 2 to 3 wet coats. That's 2 wet coats. I don't really have enough for a third coat. I don't have enough for a third wet coat, so I'm gonna save it. And when I change those tires out, I can touch up the, I can touch up the parts where the wheel weights were on. So we're just gonna let those dry. Maybe tomorrow I'll put the wheels back on the Jeep. Maybe tonight. It says you only need to wait a couple hours, so we'll see how it goes. But overall, I think it went pretty well. I had to use that flashlight, so I made sure that I didn't miss any spots, because last time when I sprayed it, there was a little bit of light coats here and there, but not this time. I did a really good job, and there's no runs. So what amazing and good spray gun will do for you. Sorry, Harbor Freight Tools. That purple gun used to be decent. I'm not a professional painter, and no professional painter I would know would use those, but I used to use them a lot before I could afford a good sprayer, and they painted fine. They really did. I painted a lot with them and they were fine, but These last 3 or 4 I've got have just been crap. So I'm not buying those anymore. And I'm gonna highly recommend that you save up your money and buy something else. Like this Husky gun was $75. You could buy 7 purple guns for that, but if they're ruining your paint jobs and you have to sand them off and they're not spraying right, really is it worth it? Just save up your money and buy something decent. That's my suggestion. Anyway, I'll touch base with you. We'll get back together when I get ready to put these wheels on. I think today's a holiday and I'm gonna take my boy out. I think we're gonna go shoot our guns. Maybe I'll bring you along for that. Good evening. It's pretty late, like 7 o'clock, but the days stay long up here, so I got time to do this. It was raining, so I had to wait. And today we're gonna put the tires back on the Jeep, and then I'm ready for the engine. I haven't heard from the machine shop yet. I'm sure it's close. So I want to get this on. Then all that's left is picking up that engine, putting it back together, and putting it in. So stay with me. I hope you enjoy me. I hope you enjoy watching me put the wheels on this Jeep. But they're gonna look really good, especially when I clean all the labels off the sidewalls that I put on, so I remember which tire went where. So we'll do that with all the tires and wheels, and then we'll torque them down to spec. So those went on fast. The torques, I'm using 3/4 inch socket, and the torques say it needs to go between 80 and 110 pounds of torque. So I'm gonna put them I'm using 90. So before I torque these to spec, we're gonna lower it down, get the wheels on the ground so we have some resistance. Okay, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That's done. You know what I think I'm gonna do though? I still got maybe an hour of light. I think I'm gonna wash those reels real quick, put some tire dressing on them, and then show you the end product. It's gonna be good, bear with me. So I'm using some Hot Shine foam Cleans and Shines tire cleaner from McGuire's. I'll try to put a link into that in the description, but I think they came out awesome. Just, they look great. You're not supposed to get any of that stuff on the painted surfaces, so I was careful not to spray the wheel, and any extra I got on there, I wiped it right up. But you should take a look at this. Other than the wax, FL for front left, man, I think they turned out great. Looks like I'll have to rebuild the brakes. Can't have that rust looking like that behind them now that those things look so good. So anyway, I'm going to not show you the rest of it. I'm just going to clean up the other 3 tires and call it a day. But man, I'm real happy with how that turned out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this segment, or part 11 or 12, or I don't know what it is. I've been working on this part for a while, but it's always forward progress with us. So thanks for joining me again on My Hobby Prison. Please like and subscribe and make a comment. What I was saying is I've made 13 videos. I haven't got one comment. Well, one comment from my sister. Does that count? Anyway, if you'd like to comment, please like, and please subscribe. And I hope you enjoy My Hobby Prison. Hope you're enjoying this segment, and have a great night. See you soon.